Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be changing out the rear diff fluid on the Vette. It's one of those things that kind of gets overlooked, I think, by a lot of people. They just have it, they never change it. Hopefully they change the oil, but yeah, I think the diff and the trans fluids are things people tend to overlook. So we're going to get under there today, and we're going to do the diff fluid today. It's a pretty straightforward process. I'm going to show you how to do it on an 02 Z06. This also applies to C6 Vettes, I believe, as well. I believe it's the same setup. So, all right, let's get under here and have a look. All right, so before we get started, this is what you're going to need. You're going to need 2 quarts of gear oil. It takes a little less than that. I did go with the Royal Purple, and it does have the friction modifier additive in it already, so you don't have to mix anything. You just put that right into the rear, and you're good to go. And you are going to need something like that. It's a fluid pump. Screw it down into the bottle. Pump it up, it takes it from the bottle up into the diff. And then you're going to need a ratchet and a socket. It's 10 millimeter Allen hex, whatever you want to say. It's an H10. You're also going to probably need a torque wrench. Torque it down the spec. It's 26 foot-pounds on both the fill and the drain. And obviously you're going to need a drain pan, or you're going to have gear oil all over your floor. All right, so we're under the car here. We're looking, you can see the rear there. Just to the right, that's your fill plug. You can see it says limited slip lube only. A good thing to do is take your fill plug out first before you open the drain plug, because if you open the drain plug and let all the fluid out, and then for some reason you can't get this off, you are stuck with a car with no fluid in the rear and no way to get fluid back in the rear so you can drive it and take it to a shop or buddy or whatever you need to do. So make sure your fill plug comes out before you drain the fluid out. All right, so I did mention the fill plug earlier, to take your fill plug out first in case you can't, and sure enough, my fill plug has not come out yet. I did spray it down with some penetrating oil. You can see it's wet. It looks wet up there too, but yeah, so we're gonna see if we can get this thing out now. If not, I might try putting a little heat to it. All right, so as you can see, I was able to get the fill plug out. I let it soak with some penetrating oil for a bit, and it's already starting to drip out. So the good news is the rear is full of fluid. Now I gotta get the drain out and drain it, but I did put some penetrating oil on and I heated it up. I just have a little propane torch. I just heated it up with that and it came right out. So next we gotta get under here and drain it out. And I will say, put the fill plug in so it stops dripping on the floor. Okay, so obviously we're still under the car back here. You can see the fill plug in the rear there. So you want to come down under the rear cradle, cross member, whatever you want to call it. And then we're looking straight up and down, and voila, right there is your drain. That is also the same size. It is 10 millimeter Allen. I'm going to spray this down. I'm going to try it, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to spray this down as well. If that one's that tight, I feel like this one is as well. Okay, so that actually came right out. Just put my ratchet on it and turned it, and it got loose. So the next thing I want to do, I feel like I'm going to have to jack the car up a little bit more. I literally just have the car driven up on boards, but you put your drain pan under to catch it. Take the fill plug out, take the drain plug out, let it drain, wait till it's done dripping, put it in there. Now, one thing I will say, if you've never worked with like gear oil before, stuff stinks. So you really don't want to leave it in an open container. Transfer it to something until you can recycle it. This is a sealed container. It's nice to have the open so you can see if anything's in there, but you know, it's going to go in, and then I'll probably dump it into another jug. I've got some clear water jugs I saved just so I can dump fluids in and seal them so you don't have that stench in your garage, because if you wait too long, your whole garage will smell like gear oil, and it's not a pleasant odor. All right, so that's the gear oil that I drained out. You can see it's very brown-ish, grayish. I don't even know what that means, but you can see where I touch it there. There's little tiny bits of metal shavings, which is not good, not ideal. I know, yeah, you can kind of see it on the tip of my finger there.
So car's got 150,000 on it. So who knows? That could be gear oil from 2002. Probably is. So we're gonna put some fresh fluid in and see what it does. Never really had any issues with it. The car does have a slight whine in like 5th and 6th, but I think that's more of a trans thing since it's only in certain gears. So yeah, we're gonna show you how to fill this back up and see how it goes from there. All right, so when you're putting it back together, it's obviously the reverse process. I did wipe the threads down on the drain plug. I can't talk today. So we're getting into the car, put the drain plug in, tighten it up. Torque spec on this is 26 foot-pounds. If you have an inch-pound wrench, that comes out to about 312 inch-pounds. So you can go ahead and tighten that down to spec, and then you shouldn't have the issues I had of heat, penetrating oil, and an impact to get a plug out.
So after you do that, you're gonna take the fill plug back out and fill it up.
On the fill plug, I don't know if I showed you this earlier, a little crush washer on the back, make sure that's in place, and you want to go ahead and wipe that down before you do your final install. All right, so now it's time to do the fill. So we're going to set up our pump in one of the bottles of gear oil here, and we'll show you how to do that. All right, so you literally take your pump. That does not fit in my thing. So here's the pump I bought. It's a CRC SL4344. Fits Stainley quarts, so maybe it doesn't fit other quarts of real stuff because that's the pump and it obviously doesn't go down there. So I rigged it up, I cut the hose, I put the hose down, and then we're gonna have that going in, but I feel like this is gonna make a mess and not fit under the car.
So this is not how this is supposed to work. You're supposed to have a pump that screws onto your bottle, and you can just put the bottle under there, pump it up, and it goes right in. So I'm making do with what I have because I got to leave for work here soon. I don't really have time to go run 20 minutes to a parts store and get what I need. So I just cut the hose long so the hose still fits to the bottom. I'm pumping sideways, and then as you can see, it goes, ooh, there's my hand, goes up into the rear. So we're gonna try to pump these bottles in here quick. All right, so it is in, it is torqued. It is still dripping off the subframe. There's a puddle on the floor. So my sideways bottle trick setup that I showed you, because I bought a pump that was made specifically for CRC Stay Lube, apparently. Not a universal pump for like normal quart bottles, which I'm gonna have to get to do the trans on the car. But yeah, it worked for the most part. The hose came off the pump and that's how that happened. But so I'm gonna wipe down everything under here, get all this fluid off, and that's how you very aggravatedly change your diff fluid in a C5. I also believe it's a C6 is similar, if not exactly the same. So yeah, it didn't quite go as planned, but nothing ever does. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in today. Hope that video was helpful. Obviously things didn't go as planned, but that's part of working on cars. I'm no mechanic. I'm just a car guy that likes to tinker a little bit, and something like this I can just do myself, and maybe encourage some of you other guys to get out there and try it. But yeah, rarely does anything go like it should, as planned, whatever. It's kind of my fault. I bought the wrong pump there. The fill plug was fighting us to get it out, but it's part of working on cars, and it sucks, and it is what it is, but you just got to keep going and not get too angry and just take a step back. It's kind of nice doing it as a hobby. And just kind of take that step back, and you know, I took like an hour off while I let that penetrating oil soak in, grab a bite to eat, whatever. But anyway, it's done. So that's one more fluid we knocked out. Still got to do the trans fluid on the car. So there'll be a video coming up on that. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully it was helpful for you. If it was, give us a like, hit the subscribe button. There'll be some more C5 stuff coming up soon. Thanks for tuning in, and maybe I'll catch you in the lanes.